What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what is moving it today, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So currently it is up 1.57%, $10.54 the high. And so that is a new 52-week high. Round of applause for, SoFi. $10.19 a low. So as soon as the market did open, you had that nice push higher. In my opinion, that was just the remaining shares being covered from the options, as what does typically happen on Monday. But aside from that, 37.4 million shares being traded, 45.1 is the average. So you are seeing a lot of transactions occurring on the secondary market. As you can kind of see right here, I do anticipate after hours to be fairly active and probably a continuation of that for the remainder part of the week. No actual news from SoFi, no SEC filings, but I've been giving you guys updates on the upcoming earnings, which is roughly, if you're counting today, 6 days. So that's right around the corner. But my last update, which was only a few days ago, it was 631. So now it is 633.88 million. So analysts keep raising their expected revenue. So yeah, honestly, that's a very good sign. A lot of high expectations. Right now, there is still, over the last 90 days, 10 positive, 0 negative revisions to the earnings per share. And still roughly 4 cents. It says 4 cents, but I think it's just rounding it down. It's actually 0.048, I do believe, for the earnings per share average. So once again, I think that's generally a very good thing. One thing that I did want to share with you, even though there's somewhat a lot of volatility today, a lot of different reasons. One thing that really did stand out to me earlier on in the day was one Fed speaker once again kind of said that dependent on the data, you might not see a rate cut for the November 7th meeting. So this did go up slightly. So now there is a 15% likelihood of no cut, but still nothing really crazy. I think it's just how the market has been very hot. It needs some time to cool off. And plus right now the fear and greed index is really moving from the extreme greed to the greed category, but still has been in that for a good month and a half now, I do believe. So it's the market's running fairly hot. So I think that's one attributing factor why it is going down. But aside from that, one thing that I wanted to share with you, which is very bullish, is this. So as of last week, there was $6.56 billion leaving money markets to go to equities. And that's been rather abnormal because despite the hot market, like money's been leaving equities going into money market with the exception of last week. So I think that's maybe a good sign of higher highs might be coming, or a little bit more, optimism with equities. We'll just have to wait and see. But at the time of doing this video, shorts are returning 1.35 million shares. So in case you do not know, by shorts returning, that adds buying pressure. So that's just attributing to SoFi's very green day. 16.06% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 167.95 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.62%. So fairly good stuff for that. The minimum has dissipated with the negative gone away. Utilization 33.48, and then short score is 63.72. So a lot of people are chattering that SoFi is going to have a epic squeeze post earnings, and it's, you guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. I would rather, in my opinion, SoFi not do that, because as soon as you start talking on squeezes, then you just memify, and yes, that's probably a made up word, but you kind of just memify your stock. I think SoFi is so much more than that, and in the past, SoFi's kind of struggled with that. I've even brought up in the past how SoFi has actually been on this website. I don't know actually if I have it up readily available, but it was a top 5 most heavily kind of meme stocks based on some score and some algorithm. So I would rather not invest in meme stocks, rather just invest in good credible companies that are having triple digit returns, for instance on earnings per share, revenue, and everything else. And yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. Moving over to options, 14 million in calls, 4 million in puts. So a lot of money is getting into SoFi today through options. 54% of all the options being done so far today are optimistic and bullish, and even just between 105 and 135 recently, there was 168,000 in premiums. But as far as the call options that are being purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be roughly above $11.50. So FOMO kicking in 2.0, a lot of people anticipating that. Based on the put, people are anticipating for it to be sub roughly $9.50 to $10. So kind of have both extremes a little bit, but when it comes to next week, you do see a consensus for it to be sub $9. So this one is kind of random. So what's your viewpoint on that? In case you are new to SoFi, historically, SoFi always has more of a FOMO run up to their earnings. And then regardless of the data, you have a pullback. So I think some people are just kind of estimating that is going to continue to happen. But right now with that $10.35, it is trading between the pivot and the R1. So 10.02 is going to be a strong support, and then 10.44 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. And actually, I'm just going to quickly go back over to the options. So this is the current open interest, just so you're aware. So roughly 9,000 at the 9, 10,000 at the 950, 10,000 at the 10, 16, 1050, and then 18,000 at the 11. So as I brought up yesterday, you don't see that crazy of walls. Maybe around the 1050 / 11 is starting to go up slightly, but still nothing really crazy. Just to give you a quick overview, I'll go over to IBKR. So based on the charts, I have the ALMA, 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages, as well as the super trend. So I think in general, SoFi's technicals are looking absolutely phenomenal. The only thing that could really work against it right now is it just being overbought. And sometimes nothing wrong with a stock being overbought for kind of an extended period of time. But if there is a negative piece of news that does come out, whether it be their earnings or some other point on a macro level, then you could see a pullback with SoFi. So that's something I just wanted to bring up. But aside from that, everything is looking very bullish. Like I already said, no new analyst ratings. Last one was at 3 days ago, 1250 price target. Citi, Andrew, who has a 49% success rating. So everything is looking fairly a-okay. So what's your viewpoint on SoFi? Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing behind the scenes? And one final thing I just wanted to share with you. I did launch my memberships, so I've really been kind of expressing that. So if you like my SoFi content, want to support the channel, definitely consider joining as a member. Or if you just want buy ratings on stocks as well as options, I have a tier for that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with that, I appreciate all of you watching.